Commercial capacitors are often made from metallic foil interlaced with thin sheets of either paraffin-impregnated paper or mylar as the dielectric material. Ha! We're not there yet. But what we are on are going to be rate conversions. Cool. So why don't we take a look at rate conversions? It's a little more challenging than regular conversions when we're dealing with just one unit. However, though, I think with this three-step process, I think you'll find it very simple. All right. So why don't we suppose we have to convert 132 meters per second into miles per hour? All right. So I like to do this anytime you have a unit that is a rate. Basically, in a rate here, I'm being very general. Wherever you have two units, right? Whether it's meters per second, miles per hour, kilometers per year. Usually it's per time, but it doesn't have to be. All right. But anytime you have this kind of rate relationship, you can always follow this three-step process. All right. So the first step is actually going to be to break this problem up into two parts. So what I want to do is I want to look at the numerator and the denominator separately. Okay. So in other words, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 132 meters and convert that into miles. That's going to be one conversion. Then we're going to take now the unit on the bottom, which was seconds we started with. Now you might say, well, there's no number. What the heck are we converting? Just plug in a 1 there, right? 132 meters per second is the same as 132 divided by 1 meters per second. All right, so just plug in a 1 down there in the denominator. So now the problem then is the second conversion is going to be to convert 1 second into hours. All right, so those are the two conversions now. So let's just do both of them. So when I want to convert now from 132 meters into miles, I have to know a relationship between meters and miles. Now, this is a metric to non-metric conversion, right? Take a look in the description below. I'll leave you a link to that video. So we're just going to run through it, right? We write down the given value here for 132 meters. We're going to set up our conversion fraction, right? 2 parentheses with a division sign. We're going to take that and then multiply it by the given value. And now what we want to do is we want to cancel the units, right, of meters. So they go on the bottom. I want to find the unit of miles, so they go on the top. And now I need to know the relationship between the two, meaning how many meters are in a mile or how many miles are in a meter. It turns out I know how many meters there are in a mile, right? There's about 1,609 meters in a mile, all right? So notice when we plug in those values nicely, the meters cancel, and basically we're doing a division, right? Where it's going to be 132 divided then by the number of meters down there, which was 1,609. And when we do that division, right, it works out to be about 0.082 miles. All right. So we have that answer and we're going to keep it on the side for now. Okay. That was the first conversion. Now the second conversion, remember, we're converting now 1 second into hours. So again, we can do this in a one-step process if we know the relationship between seconds and hours. Now you might not, and you might then need to do it in 2 steps. So we would go from basically seconds to minutes and then minutes to hours. But I'm going to tell you that there's there is 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. So once we know that relationship between the unit we're converting from, which is seconds, and then the unit we're converting to, which is hours, we can do it in 1 step. So same thing, write down the given. The given was 1 second. So write it down, set up your conversion fraction, bada bing, bada boom. Plug in the seconds on the bottom, the hours on the top, and then plug in the known relationship to 3,600 seconds for every 1 hour. And now all we have to do is do the division here, right? So it's basically 1 divided by 3,600. So that works out to about 0.000278-ish, right? It's important now. Okay, so I'll get to that in a second. So I'm rounding here, but it is, well, I guess that is a second, right? So technically, so I'm rounding here. I know the answer is right about 0.00027777 there, but I'm going to round here just for simplicity's sake. But when you actually do the next step, don't round. Use the exact values in the calculator. Okay, we always round at the end of the problem. So now those are the 2 steps so far, right? Those are the 2 conversion problems that we worked out. Okay, so remember, we're dealing with 0.082 miles, and we're dealing with 0.000278 hours. The third step now is going to be to take the numerator value, which was distance, right, which is the miles. We want to find miles per hour. So we're going to take the 0.082 miles, and then we're going to divide it now by the hours, the number of hours we found, which is the 0.000278. And now when we do that division, we get our answer in miles per hour, right? So when we do the division, we get about 295 miles per hour. So this answer, right, has 3 sig figs. And the reason for that is because we started with 3 sig figs, right? We started with the 132 meters per second, all right? So yeah, if you forget the sig figs, don't worry about it. I'm not going to care. Your professor might, but who cares, right? And that's how you now do conversions with rates, okay? 3-step process. So basically the 3 steps are going to be to break up this single conversion into 2 parts. You convert the numerator separately from the denominator. Those are the 2 parts, right? Those are the first 2 steps. And then the 3rd step is to just divide the numerator value by the denominator value that you found. And it's literally that simple. As long as you know them in one step, you can do this all the time. If it were multi-step and you didn't know, how many, I don't know, meters there are in a mile, instead you knew how many meters there are in a kilometer, and then you knew how many kilometers there were in a mile, you would just have to do a series of steps. But that would basically be like a multi-step problem, all right? So I'll leave a link in the description below for that as well. And yeah, enough chatter, right? Enough chatter. We're good. We're good. So I hope this lesson helped, all right? And if it did, help us out. Subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends, all right? We appreciate it, and we're going to see you soon. Take care.